First day to work, riding to work this year. Figured maybe I'd talk a bit about myself. Been riding since 2019. Actually, probably just learned to ride a little bit that year and didn't do much until 2020 when I met other riders around here and started to really get a hang of riding the XR. That XR, when I bought it, was about $27.50, I think, came out after taxes. I could have got it locally here for an extra $100, but I ended up getting it from a place in Kelowna for $100 off. Well, in Calgary, actually, is where I bought it. Anyway, my ride to work. I used to ride all summer when I had my XR. This area here is where I hit my top speed on my XR at 41 kilometers per hour and then hit a nosedive. See real quick, you can get that 41 no problem right now. Alright, it was 46 kilometers an hour, so that was way faster than what I did before. But yeah, this is always my stretch that I'd like to push my speeds on my way to work before. Anyway, yeah, when I met the guys, we used to have some group rides that would go from like 11 p.m. all the way to 3 a.m. after the kids were gone to bed. The next year, our group rides got bigger. We ended up trying to start a company of 4 or 5 of us. Turns out it was just a couple of us after everything went through. And then that went pretty good for a little while. I bought a couple extra XRs to rent and do lessons. And then with all the stuff that happened with Future Motion and JW, all their lockdown, making everything worse, making everything harder. That really made it difficult for me to continue to support them. And then the GT announcement on top of that made it even harder for us to sell accessories because we already had a bunch of them for the XR. So it was just like Future Motion was trying to get too much power. And that's when I decided to sell, or just give my portion back to Jonesy for the business. Float folks, he was doing a good job with the accessories and tire changes and stuff like that. And then I took the XRs and sold them. Sold what I could, because out of my 3 XRs, 2 of them were broken. And I had a terrible experience with Future Motion trying to get those fixed. Even one being under warranty, couldn't get that fixed under warranty. Anyway, so then I started to build the VESC project. And wow, that was a fun learning experience. But I can't say that it was not stressful at the time, even though the VESC software had taken a huge leap and it was well ahead of Future Motion software now. It was difficult to get parts, so I had to ship from all different places, pay for shipping and import fees, etc. So it was it was a little bit crazy. But yeah, so that took me probably about a year to make that board, if not a little bit longer. Then I had it riding, which was great. When it rode, that was a whole different world. I couldn't believe it, what I could do, how it could feel. it's just a whole other world. And then basically right when I was done my board is right when Floatwheel got announced. So I rode my board for a couple months and decided, you know what, like, I'm not someone that has a lot of disposable income. I put a lot of money into that VESC, and the specs of the Floatwheel were a lot higher. Not a lot, a little bit higher, for a much cheaper price. So I was just like, okay, you know what, maybe this is what we do. So I popped the pre-order on Floatwheel and sold my VESC, hoping for the best. And yeah, after everything coming through and learning, this is the side path here that I take. It's a nice place. I like to ride here. This is also where I did a lot of my high speed pushes. Yeah, and then a 6-month wait, I guess, before Floatwheel came out from the pre-order, or 6 months before I got it. After my pre-order, maybe a little bit more actually, because I think I pre-ordered in January, and then it came, by the time it arrived, it was July. Put it together pretty quickly. It's pretty easy because I had experience making a VESC. And rode it, and wow, same feeling again I had. I was like, this is awesome. The torque was way higher than what I had on my VESC XR platform, but that's because the V1, well, the Cannon Core has a lot of torque on its own, but the V1 specifically had an insane amount of torque. Let's go up this hill, so just because we feel like it. Oh wait, everything, grass is all wet. Let's just not do that. I don't have a fender on, and I'm in my work pants. Yep, and yeah, started riding and already breaking my speed records, even on the V1 motor. And then I guess what I must have ridden through some water, or it was a really hot day and we rode really hard trails, and I don't think that first controller on those pre-orders, especially those first 80 boards, or 100 boards, so I was like number 80 something or whatever, they didn't seem to have very good heat dissipation, so I might have just overheated my controller and not really realized it. I'm not sure exactly. But it did run fine for a couple days after that. It's just when I went to redo my calibration, because I think maybe I just didn't do it that well the first time. Oh, I like the spot here. I didn't do it that well the first time, so when I redid it and then ran the motor config, the wheel started spinning really fast. When I bench tested it, and then it just cut out, and then that's when everything just blew. So Tony, I contacted Tony about it, and on it right away. He's like, oh, I couldn't connect to the controller. The board would turn on, but I couldn't connect. So he sent me a new controller LCM right away. I connected that, but it turns out I also blew the hall sensor. So he sent me a new motor. So I had everything except a new battery and BMS. And ever since then, this board's been amazing. I've put 1,200 kilometers on it. And the feeling of that V2 motor when it came was way better. I mean, I didn't need all that torque from the V1 motor. The V2 motor definitely still has tons of torque, but I was able to hit some really high speeds, more than I'm comfortable doing most of the time. Like you saw earlier, I just quickly went 46. I'm not even wearing my gear, just a helmet right now and some gloves. So I didn't plan for this ride to be high speed, so I don't have a lot of gear on, so I'm going to work. But yeah, the customer service was top notch. Join the Discord, the community is top notch. Everyone's helpful. It's because a lot of the VESC guys that were super helpful before also jumped into the Floatwheel community, and because it's all VESC, right? It's nice to have a board that's finally ready to go. You don't have to get it custom made, and that is well made. I mean, there's some things that Tony is that Floatwheel in general has or has had to fix, make adjustments on their boards for the future of the boards. But it's one thing about Floatwheel is that they listen to the community as long as you communicate respectfully with them, and their customer service and the way they listen to us is just way better than what anyone has ever seen in this community. So, well, except maybe some of the third-party parts for onewheel. So yeah, that's pretty much how I've got hooked into Floatwheel. Now I'm buying them, trying to sell them to locals here so more people can enjoy it without even much profit either, just a little bit of money for my time. If I were in the States, I can make way more. I see people selling them for a lot more than you can buy them new, because the setup is hard for some people, and then buying with crypto is also hard. So anyway, this is me here at work, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Float in Canada. I have a new website there just to explain what I do, but I do VESC repairs projects. I'll even do crypto payments for a fee if you want to get yourself a Floatwheel. But so far, the great customer service and experience I've had is getting me going here. So, all right, float on, my friends.